Let us start off by talking about something really important that we face every day, and that is how to manage your emotions. Now, we all know that we have quite a range of emotions, and we experience them on a daily basis. Emotions are basically feelings that are very intense, very short-lived. They tend to have a reason behind them, something that caused them in the first place, and they play a key role in our daily lives. Now, the emotions that we experience, either positive or negative, can affect us in many ways. There are lots of positive emotions. For example, feeling excitement, joy, elation, happiness, this sense of euphoria. All of those are positive emotions. But then we also have negative emotions like anger and jealousy, envy, fear of rejection. And as you can see, these are all very common. It isn't anything that we are not accustomed to or that we have not felt at any point in time of our lives. Having emotions is very important. We cannot avoid them, including the negative ones. It is very difficult not to experience negative emotions. Now, while we may want to always be experiencing positive emotions, that balance is important. But if we are stuck on experiencing an emotion for too long a period of time and we are not able to cope with this emotion and it starts to affect us in a negative way, then that's where we have problems. And these problems can come about with our decision making, the way we interact with others. It can affect our relationships. We can have issues where we're now not concentrating, not focusing, and maybe we're lashing out or reacting in a manner that maybe could have been a little better. Now, keeping that in mind, it is completely normal to feel emotional overwhelm at times. That can be with either positive or negative emotions. Sometimes we're so excited about things and we're so elated that we just don't know what to do. We can't contain ourselves and we're just in this state of frenzy. But that ought to die down. The same can happen with negative emotions. We can experience them for such a long period of time or on a daily basis that they start to affect us in a negative way. But how do we know when our emotions are starting to get out of control? Well, they'll start to affect our daily lives. We won't be able to function as well. They will cause problems in our interpersonal relationships. If you're in school studying, it'll affect your studies. You may see a decline in your grades. At work, you may not be able to focus and concentrate. You might be distracted. You might be so absorbed in what's happening that you're not able to get your work done. And it also affects your self-care and the way you do things for yourself. You also know that you have a problem if, for example, these emotions that you're experiencing are causing you to want to use substances to escape or to feel relief or to just cope, basically. And if you are having any type of outbursts or lashing out or acting out, then we know that there is a problem. And keeping that in mind, there are certain things that we can do to keep a check on how our emotions are going and whether we're in control or whether they're controlling us. One of the things that we can do is aim for regulation. What does that mean? Imagine that your emotions could be controlled by a dial. Now, I know some of you are going to tell me, turn it all down, I don't want to feel anything. And some of you might be like, turn it all up, I just want to be happy all the time. But no, we cannot live on either extreme. And while you know that you would regulate it so that you have a balance and you're normal, that is what you need to do with your daily life, basically. You see what emotions you're feeling, you take a look at it in that moment. Okay, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? And how am I reacting? And you determine whether or not that reaction is warranted to the emotion that you're feeling. And in regulating your emotions, we try not to repress or suppress. meaning we try not to brush them, try not to ignore them, try not to just put them aside and pretend that they're not there. We have to ensure that we are dealing with our emotions, that we are facing them. Because when you start to repress and you start to just ignore them, you don't work through them, you don't deal with them, then they can cause different issues and they can create mental health problems, such as giving you more stress, which we talked about in season 1. So if you need a refresher, please feel free to go back. It can cause you anxiety, depression. You can start to feel physical symptoms such as muscle aches and tension, and you can get bodily aches. You can get different sensations just because your emotions are not being managed. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Unboxed. We are in our second